Welcome to the Improve and Have Fun podcast. And on this podcast, I work on improving myself while having fun along the way with the hopes of encouraging you to do the same. My name is Paul V. Perez, and on this particular episode, we're going to be reviewing Hulu's Future Man, starring Josh Hutcherson. And we're going to go ahead and get into a description of that once we start getting into the review. But if you like this review, I would say please check out my book. It's called There Will Be Spoilers. And in this book is a collection of my reviews for the last 2-3 years. And that includes movies like Shazam, Avengers Endgame, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and much more, definitely. You can find that link in the description for this video, or if you're listening to this in the podcast form, you can go ahead and check out the show notes and you will find that information there. But let's go ahead and get into the show. All right. Jason G and I are back for another week of quarantine review. And Jason G, how are you?
All right, not too bad. Good evening, Paul. It's now 12:37 a.m. Sunday night, early Monday morning, and this is when we usually do our hard work now every week for the past few weeks. So yeah, good evening, everybody.
Definitely hard work, you know. So, this week I asked you to watch Future Man. This is a 3-season show on Hulu, an Hulu exclusive. It premiered on November the 14th, 2017, and I'm just going to give a brief synopsis, and then we're going to talk about our thoughts.
Sounds good.
Future Man, janitor Josh Futterman leads a pretty boring life, spending much of his time playing video games when he's not working. Things change though when he beats a video game that the rest of the world has given up on, thinking it wasn't beatable. After he defeats the game, mysterious visitors from the future appear. They put the world in danger, and Josh is the only person who can save it. He assembles a team to assist him as he travels through time, completing various missions as he does whatever he can to try to save the Earth from the extraterrestrial visitors. So, Jason, I asked you about Future Man. This is produced by Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, who did Sausage Party, and they've done several other shows and things. What did you think of Future Man?
Okay, so I remember a few years ago when it first came out, like they were promoting the first season. I guess I saw posters in the subway promoting it, and then I didn't even know Seth Rogen had something to do with this. Yeah, and I'm looking now. Interesting enough, they directed the first 3 episodes together, the ones that we're going to review now. You told me last week to, watch the first 3 episodes, and then we'll review those. So I guess it was about half an hour each, so that's about an hour and a half length of a movie, an average movie. And I thought it was very good. It was very, very funny, entertaining, movie-like quality, production value, effects. Yes, I tell you, I'm a sucker for time travel movies, especially ones that are done well. And some of my favorite episodes of Twilight Zone, were time travel episodes. One of my favorite movies of all time, Back to the Future. I'm a sucker for that. And the fact that this is, has to do with time travel, really made me like it even more because of that. But like you said, last week, it has like an 80s vibe, 90s vibe to it. You have a lot of references to
and we're going to talk
pop culture that we grew up with. And I was very entertained. This is a very well done, very well written, with lots of comedy and action. And I was surprised to see how many big famous people are in this. You have a lot of cameos, and anyway, yeah. So I did enjoy it a lot.
We're going to talk full spoilers. This show, one of the reasons why I wanted you to see it is because I think it plays to, obviously the producers are big fans of the 80s, and even if there's like a little making to on the Hulu as well of this show, and a lot of stuff, like in terms of, like you said, Back to the Future, they borrow a lot from Terminator and time travel, and It's very violent, a lot of F-bombs. Like I said, if you watch Sausage Party and, movies that um, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg have produced, they've produced a lot. I mean, I'm looking at a list right now. I pulled it up. It's The Interview. This Is the End. Good Boys. Superbad. Pineapple Express. The Night
Oh,
Before.
yeah.
So this kind of gives you, like they make very rated R adult kind of comedies. And
Right.
I was even surprised with how rated R this was. I mean, it didn't show like breasts and naked people, but it did show sex. It did show semen. It did show, like I said, a lot of F-bombs. But you're right. Like the way that it was shot, it's like very much of a high level production. And I finished the whole series last week, all 3 seasons, and I'm gonna, in this conversation, I'm gonna go on and speak just about the series as a whole, but we're gonna
Okay.
focus on the 3 episodes right now, like we were talking about, and I enjoyed it very much as well. Like I said, it's comedy. You even have like references, like direct references, like when Josh is like he notices like a different like little weird time travel thing. You get the little jingle that you would get from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess
Oh yeah. Well, whenever like after they went to the past and then they came back to his time in 2017, which I guess is present day because that's when the show came out. And whenever he saw something that changed or something, they had this like twinkle like sound effect. I was like, that's just like Back to the Future. It's so funny. It's hilarious.
it was great. It really, really was good. And also, like you were talking about, in terms of actors who are on this show, like actors that we've seen for some time, you have Keith David, who plays a big part in the show. Ed
Oh
Baker
yeah. I'm like,
Jr.,
yeah, he's great.
Glenn Headley, who this was like one of her last things that she did before she passed away, and I didn't even know she passed away until I was watching this show. I didn't even know that, really. Haley Joel Osment, who has a huge part in this show, even as it progresses, he has a really big part in the show. So a lot of actors that you've seen before. Now the two people who have, who have a lot of, they're like the supporting cast, but it's really as the series progresses, even like these three characters are the main characters, like Josh Hutcherson from Hunger Games, but then the two other people who I've never seen before who were fantastic was Eliza Coupe and Derek Wilson, and it's ridiculous. Like every time, this is like not the video game homage part. Like every time they like do a move, they like say it out loud, like gut punch
Yeah.
and this and that. Gut punch. So ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sorry, Jason. I'm doing all the talking here. Hit
No,
me
no,
with it.
it's good, very good. No, speaking about those two characters that are like that are basically like from a video game. Their characters' names are nothing but I don't think we even learned their names. But
Oh.
her name is Tiger and his name is Wolf. So Tiger and Wolf.
And then all the people in their group, in their like military group, their animal names too. Mongoose, this and
Oh,
that.
that's hilarious. That whole thing when he's
Yeah,
filling
grunting.
out every single name, Mongoose, Newt, whatever. There's like 30 names, and she's calling them all.
They're all animals. They're all
It's ridiculous.
dog, this cat, ridiculous. Yeah.
No, so this movie, I think, it has similar plot to you mentioned Back to the Future. We mentioned Terminator. Also, did you say the Last Starfighter? It has a very similar story.
No, but please speak on that.
The Last Starfighter, is this movie from the 80s about this guy who like aces and completes like the whole video game of this game, The Last Starfighter. I forgot if that's the actual name for it, but I haven't seen
That
the movie in a while.
that is Last Starfighter. That's the thing.
So he does so well at this video game called The Last Starfighter, and then because he masters the entire game, you have these aliens come down and say, "Oh, you know what? This game was a test to find someone who will be so good, and can help us, fight these alien race people who are like evil to us, and you'll be our like savior." So in fact, he even says it in the show. So Future Man, he's like, "What is this? It's like ridiculous." So you have all these different movies, like different kind of movies that we grew up with, that where this plot of Future Man takes place. I mean, that is similar to, or it's a homage to. and he said, what is it called? The video game is called Biotic Wars. That's what it's
Right.
called.
That's right.
In it. So talking about these characters, I mean these actors, right? So Ed Begley Jr. plays Josh's father, and I've seen a bunch of movies of him growing up. He's great in this. Actually, his both his parents. They said Glenn Headley is the actress who plays his mother, right? And she said she passed away, and they're great. Like they play perfect parents,
Totally oblivious, but I mean, they're so loving and so supporting, but totally oblivious to anything. Yeah.
In was it the second episode, I think, where they go back in time, and then they have to go and they have to go to this like fraternity,
Yeah.
to like change what happens, a la Back to the Future, so they can save the future, kind of like. And then the guy's like, oh, I've never actually been to a fraternity, and neither of you guys, because you're from the future, but I've seen Animal House, so that makes me a pro at this. Well, I'll take care of it. And then it's great because it takes, they go back into 1969, and they walk into, they knock on the door. Hey, we're gonna make it so that this guy does this. So they say, basically they're trying to prevent something to so he doesn't, like, I guess, have sex with this girl or make out with this girl. So anyway, I don't want to give too much of the plot, but what's interesting is that it takes place in 1969. They knock on the door, and it's a black fraternity, and they didn't realize that at first. And they're like, "Hey, man, now people from the future, according to like their dialogue, they don't have this kind of racial tensions or racial trouble, because they actually say, well, what does the color of the skin have to do with anything?" And then the guy's like, "Well, it's different back then." So anyway, it's really funny. It's really great stuff, and really they do cute things like, the guy finds an Apple phone that's black, and then he
Black.
then so talking about the parents being funny. He goes back to his time in 2017, and then he says, "Oh my gosh, black apple!" And he says, and the parents say, "No, it's a blapple. You say only old people say black apple. It's a blapple." And then I think they call it like a blacktop or something. It's really funny.
Laptop. Yeah. Ridiculous. The cool thing about this show is, like, it's characters in terms of Wolf and Tiger who are on a different time, and then the hijinks that happen with them being in this different time, and then it has like a big action element to it. You know what I mean? I guess these first 3 episodes, and let me tell you, like, I started to watch it. The first time I watched it like the first 5-10 minutes when Josh is like in the future, and I was like, this is terrible, and I switched it off. And it was now that, like, about 2 weeks ago, where I switched it on. And I was like, let me check this out, and then, like, I fell in love with it. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me recommend this to you. Now, were there any cons, Jason? Did you have any cons with this show?
The cons, let's see. The cons maybe. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I would say people who know about Seth Rogen's productions know about, like, Sausage Party, and have a lot of. While they don't show a lot of nudity, there's a lot of sex dialogue. Now, for me, I'm fine with that, but some people, I'm thinking it might be a little over the top with some of it, but it shouldn't bother people who watch you. I would think. I mean, I don't know, but people who are hip to nowadays should be fine with it. But I don't know, and that wasn't bothering me. So if you're talking about me, I would say I don't have any cons. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. It's a little, like, sometimes it's too silly, and maybe you think, oh, I wish they would take a little more serious, because it's like over the top silliness. And then, let's say Back to the Future, right? Like, it's a comedy, but it's not too silly. So they take the story of the element of the story a little more seriously, and then that would be the only thing I would say. Where, but it all depends on one's opinion. But I would say that would be my only thing. That's a little too silly. So that would be my only thing.
Okay, so My point of view is a little bit different because I finished the whole thing because like I really enjoyed it. I finished the whole thing, but let's just say focusing solely on the first three episodes, it's very enticing to watch the rest of it. I like this kind of humor in terms of like this raunchy kind of rated R humor. Uh,
Right, right.
so uh, I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it very much, definitely. Like I said, I'm gonna give one score for the first three episodes, but then I'm gonna give a different score for the rest of the series. But if we're scoring it, like these first three episodes, they're so much fun, so fantastic, um, and I enjoyed it. Like I say, I would give this like a 9. The first three episodes, if we're talking, if
Mhm.
we're giving a score right now. The first three episodes, I'll give it a 9. Yeah, because like I said, it's super enjoyable. It makes me want to watch more. This is not the best TV I've ever seen, but this first three episodes play so much to things that I enjoy. Similar to you, time travel movies. I like video games. I like all the references that they made because I've seen a lot of the movies that they are referencing. So this hits me in a sweet spot, and I very much enjoyed this. And yeah, and I say it's a, I always have a problem with like the whole thing of like kind of Hollywood pushing like a woman agenda and the woman's the boss and this and that. But in rewatching those first three episodes, there are moments when Tiger shows some moments of like, like, okay, I'm gonna chill and you go, and I'm not always like the HBIC and like everybody does what I say. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
she has
right, right, right.
she has different levels where she's like, no, but you're the savior, and like, please save us, kind of thing. And then like, okay, it's time for orders, and then times to be the tough guy, but then times to kind of back down a little bit in these first three episodes. So I like that. And Wolf is ridiculous. He's
Yeah,
really ridiculous, but he's the one, he makes me laugh. And like I said, this is a 9 for me. This is a 9 for me, definitely.
yeah. I was gonna say this. My score in terms of a number, I would say the same thing, 9. I would say a 9. I would say if this the first three episodes, you could actually, if you tweak the script, this could actually be a feature length movie if you came up with an ending, you tweak the script, so this is setting it up for a 3 season movie. I mean, series. But I would say you could make these 3 episodes into a film. I think it could be like a Galaxy Quest. That's what I'm thinking of. This is similar
Ah,
to like a Galaxy Quest,
Galaxy
and
Quest is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Galaxy Quest is like the perfect movie, I would say, in terms of what it did. I mean, it is a flawless movie. This is almost like that in a way, and it could be, I think, a feature film. If they tweak the script. Um, Also, I was going to say, in the beginning episode, there was, an actress who is becoming really big now, Aquafina, and she was hilarious.
Yeah. This
She's
this
great.
is like she's everywhere now. This was like she was still like kind of starting up. No, that's a great observation, and she's super funny in this too. You know what I'm saying? But no, that's a great observation. She's like literally like beginner level right here in this show. That's a great observation.
Right, and I assume she comes back. She's in the episodes I saw. She's only in the very first episode, but I assume she comes back. I mean, I don't know.
Does
Um,
come back? She does.
and then you said Haley Joel Osment. If people don't know him by name, he plays the kid in The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis. And what else did he do? He did a couple of things.
Was in a,
And he was yeah, right. So and him with Keith David, the two of them have great chemistry together. They're really funny. And I that was a surprise to me. I'm a big Keith David fan. I loved him. Two of my favorite movies are like The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, and he's great in that. And They Live. John Carpenter's They Live. And I'm a
he's
big
been
fan of
around
his.
forever. He's been around forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
God bless him. You know what I mean?
and he's done. He was the father of what's his name in Something About Mary, right? There's Something About Mary. What was his name? The actor. He
Oh, I
plays
forgot.
father. So the lead actor in There's Something About Mary there's a scene in the beginning where he's in the bathroom and he zips his fly
Ben
up
Stiller.
and like
Stiller.
yeah, Ben Stiller, that's it. So he plays Keith David, even though he's black and Ben Stiller's white. He plays Ben Stiller's father,
Big.
and then they show, and he's great at it. So this is another part for Keith David to show his comedy chops, because he doesn't always get comedy roles. And he's also the voice of that comic book movie Spawn, right? He's the voice of Spawn.
He does everything. He does comedy. He could be a villain. He could be a good guy. He could be like the president, like a presidential kind of figure. He could be like
he's a general in Armageddon, I think.
He's played a general, right? I'm saying
he's a great character actor, and I love character actors. Yeah. So anyway, this is a great movie. I mean, a great series. Great, and now it's really inspired me to watch the rest. So I will definitely eventually watch the whole thing. And I just see it here. It says the third and final season was released April 3rd. So
this year, this
right
month.
now.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want, I can give a review of the series as a whole, or if you want to watch it, I will not give a review of the series as a whole.
Yeah, no, don't. I don't want spoilers now. So,
Okay.
you could say how you liked it, but just don't say any plot points. That's all.
Oh no, okay, we can do that. I feel that the series as a whole is good. Like I will say that the first season is the strongest. The second and third season they're good, but they're not as good as the first season. I will say that. And the series as a whole, I would say is like a 7. The series as a whole.
Okay.
Yeah, I just feel like I said, the first season it's really really good. It's a lot of fun. But then the second and third seasons, like the focus is not, this is not spoiling it right here, but I would say that the focus is not on Futterman. Like the focus goes to the other two. Like Futterman, like how this season really focuses on Futterman. Like the other two seasons, he's more like I'll explain it like this. In this season, Joshua Futterman, Josh Hutcherson. It's funny they call him Josh. Yeah,
Tiger and Wolf together, right?
Yeah, like in this season, he's the main character, and then Tiger and Wolf are supporting. But what happens in seasons 2 and 3, they all become the main characters, and then they kind of switch out. But most of the time for the seasons 2 and 3, he's not the primary. It's in between them two. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And for me, they have some great moments. They really have some great moments. But like this first season, I found it to be really fun and funny. The other 2 seasons were not as funny, but they were fun. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like the thing I will compare it to is this. Like it's like This Is the End, which is a movie that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg produced. We saw this movie, and like it's a lot of fun to set up and as it progresses. But then on the end, it kind of just goes off the rails and goes crazy. But it's still fun, and I would say that this series is like that. Like it's a lot of fun, but then in the end, it just gets a little weird. But I mean, it finishes up, in a good way. But it just kind of goes a little bit crazy. But then but then overall, the series as a whole is a 7.
Okay. Would you say that you would agree with me? Like if you take the first 3 episodes and maybe the 4th and tweak the script a little bit, it could be a movie like released in the theater. Because it's solid. I mean, it's really really entertaining.
I think with, like you said initially, the first 3 episodes with an extra 15 to 20 minutes, you can have a complete movie. Like it just depends on how you wrap it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Maybe change the ending.
In terms of the premise, in terms of how it starts in the middle, and then how it references all these movies. So it's kind of like it's not like a Tarantino movie, but it's the way Tarantino homages the movies that he likes. These 2 guys, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, are making this as a homage to what they grew up and they like. It's just similar in that way, where you have all these different plot points from all these different shows or movies that they grew up with, and they do it so well. Like I said, like Galaxy Quest did to Star Trek. Yeah. But anyway, it was great. I'm glad you recommended it to me, and now I'm gonna have to watch the whole thing.
Oh no, you don't have to watch it, but you know what? Like us talking about it, like me rewatching those first 3 episodes, I kind of want to watch more of it again. I'll be honest with you. I kind of want to, because I had a lot of. I'm telling you, I had a lot of fun, And there are moments when I was just laughing. Like when I laugh here in my apartment, I hit the wall, and then I just start laughing. You know what I mean? So,
Right,
but
right.
yeah, but I may actually watch some of it like in passing because, like I said, I had a good time with it. And I don't really rewatch things. I really, really don't. But comedies, I will rewatch.
Well, I just thought of something I was going to say when I was watching the series. I was like, I think they should have changed the title because when you just have anything now saying something man, it really, unless it's unique, it's just like you don't know what it's going to be about. So just saying future man, I don't think is good anymore. Like there's so everything, now, there's so many characters, superheroes that are like, of course it started with Superman, but then you have Ant Man and this man and that man and Iron Man. So Future Man is just another one of these something man, where if you just see the poster and that title, it might not catch everyone. So it could have had a better title. I don't know.
But it's a play on his name, like Futterman. Is it Futterman or Future Man? It's ridiculous.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. Okay, that makes sense though. That makes.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No, but you're right. In reading about the show, I think that it has like a cult following, but it didn't blow up. The show, and I mean, they spent money on the show too, and also like this season, I think has like this season has like 10 episodes. Season 2 has 13, and then season 3 only has 8. So I think that this speaks to the popularity. Like maybe like it didn't catch fire, and then they just say like wrap it up in 8, and that's it. That's all we're gonna give you money for. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and then one last thing. Now I just remembered. I see what you mean though. Okay, that it didn't blow up. But there's so many shows nowadays. It's just so hard to like have the biggest hit of all time show. But
and also shows they do blow up later. There are some shows that they make no noise, and then we've heard of this, like shows like down the road, it'd be like, oh my god, how did I miss this? And then everybody's watching it.
Or movies, or movies,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
But one other thing I was going to say is that, which I didn't mention, was the chemistry that the three main actors, like the guy. It's very charming to see Futterman, Josh, right, explaining a lot of cultural things to these two people from the future who just don't get anything in the present, and then they're about to throw him away. They're like, when they were first watching him try to fight his family.
His family.
Like, all right, let's see how great he's gonna do with fighting. And he's not a fighter. He just plays video games, and he's explaining, no, the fact that I'm good at this video game doesn't mean I'm a good fighter. And they're about to throw him away. But he's like, no, but I know what's gonna happen in the present, and what this guy, this doctor is gonna do. That we have to, so you need me. And then later they do realize that they do need. So it's very charming the way that this kind of like that. If you I think like take that element and run with it, this would be an amazing movie. I mean, I just keep going back. I think it would be a great movie. Like that part of it is really charming and really funny and really good. I don't know if they keep doing that throughout the series though.
Yeah. Like, that what you're talking about? There, like some of the moments in the first season alone is gonna make you go crazy. Like, and in a good way. I'm talking about like laughing out of your seat. Like,
right.
This is one of the strongest. And the thing is, I will give major props. And let me tell you something. Like, as we will both do. Like, if you see something cool, you're gonna research it. You're gonna get on your phone and be like, "What's this? What's this? What's this?" And
right.
Dude, like I was looking up like who the woman actress was. I've never seen her before, and also who are basically saying I was looking up who Tiger and Wolf are, what other work have they done, because they are so good in this. Like they sell it so well. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, like the whole like I'm out of time, but then like the whole like the thing that happened with the baby, I thought that was ridiculous. Or then the guy was like, yeah. I think the motorcycle guy was like, what's up? Yeah, double D's, and it's ridiculous. It's called double D's, the biker gang. Double D's, and then like one handshake, what's up? And then he breaks.
And then he breaks his ring. And I was thinking like, if we were in a theater watching this, if it was like we were watching it together, and he did that to the fingers, we would have just been on the floor like hysterically laughing. Crying. I mean, and the way they showed the mangled up, like it was almost like. And
the camera's all in his face, like.
Exactly, it was hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think you should, like, at your time, at your pace, of course. But watch it, and I think like I said, season 1 is fantastic, and I think you're gonna love it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes, and then I just remembered when he had these messed up fingers, he's trying to dial like with the
Oh,
road.
ridiculous. Kill him, man! Kill him! You know, like
What was the thing? He was like, oh, he was like this with his fingers. He's like, he was
that's
trying to give him a
double
special
D
handshake.
yeah,
Yeah.
double D. But then the thing that he like Wolf, he destroys the gas station shop, and then he comes in, he points the gun at him, and then yeah, he's like, what's your problem, man? And then he's like, my supervisor, something like, he's talking about Tiger, like, we got messed up and we're trying to save the world or some shit. And he goes, wow, man, that's heavy, you know, like. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But
A lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff. I think you're right. Like this could become have more of a following later or
yeah,
something. Because there's so many things that like we're talking about this for a long time. This review is really long because we keep referencing stuff. So
it's great.
hopefully people will
I'm
see
glad
that.
you watched it and you enjoyed it. You know, because like I said, it's so many references to things that we like. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, very good. It was good.
now, Jason, it's your turn to recommend something for us to watch for next week.
Okay, well, I'm thinking that we watch next week that movie that I sent to you and said, "Hey, did you see this or do you know? Have you heard of this?" It's a movie that takes that was I think it was released in the '80s and it's starring Charlie Sheen and it's a fantastic movie. It's called The Wraith, WRAITH, The Wraith.
This movie. I think I've seen this movie, but no, we'll watch it again. And is it on Netflix? Oh, is it on Hulu or is it on Amazon Prime?
It is actually on YouTube. You can watch it on regular YouTube.
The full movie.
The full movie is out there. I'll double check again, but I'm not 100% sure if it's on one of those other ones. But I know for a fact that it's on regular YouTube, uncut, and it's a fantastic movie. I've been a big fan of this movie from the first time I saw it back in. I saw it on cable TV, like on Showtime, and I really, really loved it. It's a really good movie. It's with Charlie Sheen and actually Randy Quaid is in this. He plays a sheriff, and it has a little The Crow vibe to it. But anyway, watch The Wraith.
Okay, I'm doing the research now. It is, like you said, available for free on YouTube. This is The Wraith, and I'm gonna give a brief explanation to anyone who hasn't seen it, who wants to see it. You know, this movie came out in 1986, and it's the premise is a high school hero returns from the dead to take revenge against a psychotic drag racer who killed him. The murdered boy transforms himself into a high-tech spirit in black leather and sets out to do battle with a gang of desert-based car thieves led by the man who destroyed him. So that is the movie for next week. Action thriller from 1986 starring Charlie Sheen. It is for free on YouTube.
The Wraith.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And of course, please support the podcast. There's a number of ways to do so, all in the description for this video, all in the show notes for this particular podcast episode. And I will tell you that as opposed to like subscribing or liking or hitting the like button, that's all cool. I'd rather you put down your thoughts and comments into the feedback section, into the comment section below, because I prefer having a conversation as opposed to just a nameless kind of thumbs up, you know. So comment below. Let's go ahead and talk. Like I said, any thoughts and comments of what Jason G and I discussed, please do so below. But thank you so much for watching once again. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Paul V. Perez, and all my content is at www.improveandhavefun.com. And thank you. I'll check you on the next one. Peace.